What is going on, guys? Gamers Goon here today, and today we finally are getting the Sweet 16 review slash update. Now, this year's Sweet 16 is an insane one, man. It really is. But first, we got to go through what happened in the first round. Gonzaga dominates Norfolk State. What else did you expect? Something that kind of shocked me was Oklahoma beat Missouri. That was a little bit of an interesting game there, close towards the end. And UC Santa Barbara came up short against Creighton. They almost did it. They almost achieved the great heights of winning in March Madness, but they didn't. And as I thought could happen, and it did happen, Ohio beat Virginia. Shout out Jason Preston and company. Then we had USC. They handled Drake pretty easily. Kansas, they handled Eastern Washington. It was getting a little nerve-wracking there. Then we actually had Oregon advance. Oregon advanced because, well, there was a COVID case with Virginia Commonwealth, VCU, and Oregon got the bye, so Oregon advanced. And then the team Oregon would go on to play was Iowa, getting a 12-point win over Grand Canyon. Then we head over to the south, and we had Baylor. They handled their business early on and often against Hartford. North Carolina and Wisconsin. North Carolina did not show up to play basketball. Wisconsin did. Wisconsin dominated. Villanova, they made it a little close. They made it like maybe, possibly they were going to lose, but they won. They pulled it out. They ended up winning by 10. Then we had Purdue versus North Texas, and this was another upset, man. North Texas, a team that I didn't think had much hope against Purdue. I thought Purdue was going to be a good team that they could possibly make a Sweet 16 run, and they didn't. Purdue fell up short. North Texas ended up winning that one. That was a fun game. I watched the end of that one. Texas Tech, Utah State. Texas Tech went in there. They handled their business. Arkansas, Colgate. The toothpaste brand was almost winning, man. They were almost winning, but towards the end, Arkansas just started going off. Arkansas ended up winning that one. Florida versus Virginia Tech, one that I thought Virginia Tech should have won. Virginia Tech had their opportunities, but Florida ended up winning by 5. Ohio State and Oral Roberts, this was the big one. Oral Roberts picked up the victory in the first round. That was a big shock to everybody. That was the biggest one of the first round. Let me get over to the East. We got Michigan versus Texas Southern. Michigan went in there. They handled their business. LSU versus St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies. LSU went in there. They handled their business. Colorado and Georgetown. I thought Georgetown was going to keep up their momentum. Colorado said, you know what? The Pac-12 is more dominant. We're going to go out there and we're going to beat them badly. Colorado dominated that matchup. We have Florida State versus Unc Greensboro. Florida State, surprisingly, did not win this game by much. They won by 10. But FSU, you know what? They're a grinding team. They keep grinding. They grind every game out. And they picked up the win. BYU versus UCLA. I'm not gonna lie. I said I saw this one coming. I thought that we could end up seeing that. And that's exactly what happened. UCLA ended up picking up the victory. Texas versus Abilene Christian. ACU, man. I thought possibly they were probably gonna get blown out, but Texas didn't show up to play, man. Texas did not show up to play. Texas had a chance to win it. They lost. Abilene Christian ended up pulling up the upset. They went on to play UCLA. We had Uconn versus Maryland. Maryland, I told y'all, was a team to be careful about because I thought they had what could be dangerous, and it was dangerous enough. They ended up beating Uconn by 9 points. Shout out to Maryland and those boys. Then we had Alabama versus Iona. 13-point win for Alabama. Alabama's looking good at this point. Then we had Illinois versus Drexel, and I'm still repping Illinois, man, but we ended up beating Drexel pretty handily, but I think y'all know where that's going. Then Loyola Chicago versus Georgia Tech. Loyola Chicago should not have been an 8 seed in this tournament, man. They should not have been an 8 seed. Loyola Chicago is much better than most of this field, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. They should be a 4 or 5 seed. Loyola Chicago is a much better 8 seed than anybody else. They're a better 8 seed than Tennessee is a 5 seed. They're a better 8 seed than Oklahoma State is a 4 seed. There's no reason Loyola Chicago should be an 8 seed. And the part that makes me mad, man, is they gave the respect to the AAC, which is a terrible conference for basketball outside of BYU and Gonzaga. They gave them their love, but they didn't give Loyola Chicago's conference the love and show them, hey, they're better than an 8 seed. Loyola Chicago went in. They were slow to start against Georgia Tech, but you know what? Loyola Chicago handled Georgia Tech the way they know how. And that's all I got to say about that one. And then we'll talk about Loyola Chicago some more because you already know what happened. Tennessee versus Oregon State. Oregon State went in there. They handled their business. Wayne Tinkle's got something special brewing over here in Oregon. And I don't even want to think about Oregon State going to the Elite Eight, man. I really don't. Oklahoma State. They ended up handling their business against Liberty. It got a little close there towards the end, but Oklahoma State, they finished their business. Cade Cunningham did his job. And we got San Diego State versus Syracuse, and I don't know why y'all distrusted me. I don't know why anybody questioned me. I said Syracuse had the ability to go on a big run. They ended up beating San Diego State by 16. They had the ability. They got the shooters. They got the streaky players. Syracuse is going to be a team to watch going forward. West Virginia versus Morehead State. West Virginia went in there. They handled their business. West Virginia is going to be a solid team going forward. But that was just what I thought at that point. Clemson versus Rutgers. I told you Rutgers is going to be a little bit of a dangerous team. Rutgers, they play a tough schedule in the Big Ten. They're going to be able to handle themselves against Clemson. They handled themselves against Clemson. They barely squeaked it out, 4-point win, but Rutgers still squeaked it out. Houston versus Cleveland State. Houston had absolutely zero issues beating Cleveland State. Then we get into the round of 32. We had Gonzaga versus Oklahoma. It was a little close early, but Gonzaga did what Gonzaga does, and they ran away with that ball game. Creighton and Ohio, same thing. Close early, but Creighton ran away with that ball game. Creighton looked really good. Zegargowski looked amazing in that game. And unfortunately, Jason Preston wasn't able to do too much. A game that shocked me, man. 34-point win. USC versus Kansas. Rock Chalk Jayhawks. Yes, sir. They got blown out by the Trojans. USC Trojans blew them out. I did not expect that. I didn't see that coming. And USC's advancing. And another one I didn't see coming, even though I go to Oregon. I didn't see this coming. Oregon, 15-point blowout here of Iowa. They handled the game. With about 2 minutes left in the first half, they took off, and Oregon never looked back. Oregon dominated Iowa. It was something I didn't expect to see. And we're going to get a USC-Oregon matchup in the Sweet 16. Then we have Baylor and Wisconsin over in the South. Baylor and Wisconsin. This game was a 13-point game. It was closer than what I thought it should have been. Baylor went in there. They handled their business. They did what they had to do. And Wisconsin got knocked off. I think we all expected that, though. Then we got Villanova versus North Texas, and Villanova did what Villanova should do against this team. They beat North Texas pretty handily. Then we had Texas Tech versus Arkansas, and Texas Tech, man, they blew it at the end. They had a chance to tie the game at the end. They didn't do it. Arkansas and Moses Moody will be advancing to the Sweet 16, 68-66. They're in that matchup. Very close game, very fun game to watch if you guys watch the Arkansas-Texas Tech game. Then we got Florida versus Oral Roberts. Florida was winning this game, man. And out of nowhere, Oral Roberts said, you know what? We going on a Sweet 16 run. They won this one 81-78. Oral Roberts is a 15 seed in a Sweet 16. They could possibly go to the Elite Eight, man. They could run into a Baylor or Villanova. That could be crazy. They might even run into a Loyola Chicago in the Final Four. It'll be insane. But then we got Michigan versus LSU. And this game is a game LSU didn't really come to play. They didn't come to play their best basketball. Michigan made them pay, and they won by 8. Michigan did what they do. Colorado versus Florida State, like I said, man, Florida State's a team that's going to grind it out. That's exactly what they did against Colorado, 18-point win. They were going on to face Michigan in the Sweet 16. And we had UCLA versus Abilene Christian. Game was a blowout, 20-point game for UCLA. UCLA is going to advance to the Sweet 16. As I said in my bracket, man, I said it. I said it. Watch out for them UCLA Michigan State team. They have an easy path. They have an easy path for the Sweet 16, and things start to get difficult. Here in the Sweet 16. But I think it's definitely a winnable game because on the other side we have Maryland versus Alabama, and it was a 19-point game. Their shooter started to streak, and they never looked back. Alabama won that game by 19. So Alabama UCLA is the matchup over there, and I think that's definitely a winnable game for the UCLA Bruins. Then we get to the game I'm still salty about, man. Shout out to Cameron Krutwig. Shout out to Loyola Chicago, man. They did a hell of a job. You can't even get mad at them. You can't get mad at them. The only thing you can get mad at is the fact that they were an 8th seed when they shouldn't have been an 8th seed. They were a much better team than an 8th seed, and they absolutely proved that. And I think they got a chance to go really far in this tournament because they dominated Illinois, man. I was just sitting there waiting for Illinois to go on the run, man. We've had these situations happen in the past. It happened in the Northwestern game where we were struggling, but halftime adjustments come around and we go on a big run. I was sitting there until about 5 minutes left in the game. I was like, we're going to go on that run. And at 5 minutes, I started to realize this could be it. This could be it for Io. This could be it for Trent. This could be it for DeMonte. And then I was like, we're still going to go on the run. And then once we hit 3 minutes, we're still down by double digits. I'm like, I think it's over, man. I think it's over. And from then on, man, was just depression, man. But we're going to be back next year. So, Illinois, we got nothing to worry about. Ace Wolf's going to be there. Curbelo's going to be there. Georgie's going to be there. Maybe Kofi comes back. Grandison's going to be there. We're going to be fine. And shout out to Io DeSumo. I know he took that loss a little bit hard, but Io, he's going to go on. He's going to be a great NBA player. Hopefully for my Chicago Bulls. Hopefully that's where he ends up. But I do know that it was a tough loss, but you know what? We got to move on. So Loyola Chicago advanced. They won by 13. Then we got Oregon State versus Oklahoma State, and I could not believe my eyes, man. Oregon State was actually dominating Oklahoma State throughout most of this game. They were up big. Oregon State ended up winning this thing by 10, 80-70. Cade Cunningham, he had a decent game. I'm not going to say he didn't come to play, but Cade Cunningham couldn't get it done against Oregon State, and I don't think that's fair to say it about Cade Cunningham because he played a good game. But Oklahoma State just didn't come to play. And Oregon State's going to be advancing. So that's a weird matchup you got right there. We got Loyola Chicago versus Oregon State. Very, very unique, weird matchup we got over there. Not one. The crazy thing is I've seen a couple things on Twitter, whereas the matchup we all wanted was Io versus Cade. The matchup we're getting is Cameron Krutwig versus Wayne Tinkle's team. That's crazy. But Oregon State's coming to play, man. They've been playing really good basketball as of late. Then we had West Virginia and Syracuse, and West Virginia's a team that I thought could go far, but Syracuse, they got hot. They won by 3 this game. West Virginia should have won this game. They had it towards the end. They just couldn't get it. Syracuse came. They played basketball they're the better team, and they won. Syracuse, shout out to Syracuse. They got Alan Griffin over there, Buddy Boeheim. Very, very good team over there at Syracuse. I think they could still go far. If the right path plays out, I think they could go far. Then we got Rutgers versus Houston, and Rutgers should have won this game, man. Rutgers should have won the game, but they blew it towards the end. Houston ended up winning by 3, 63-60. Hate to see it. You hate to see it. I'd hate to be a Rutgers fan right now. I feel like being a Rutgers fan would be a little bit more tough than being an Illinois fan because Illinois never held the lead. Rutgers, on the other hand, they were leading, and it's a little bit more painful. But who do I think still got a shot going forward? Let's go through it. Sweet 16 matchup between Gonzaga and Creighton. I'm going to go Gonzaga. Gonzaga's been playing really good as of so far in this tournament. They should have no problem with Creighton. Creighton, they played solid basketball, but they struggled a little bit against UCSB. And if you're struggling against UCSB, I hate to say it, even though I thought UCSB could pull it out, I don't see you beating Gonzaga. I really don't. And then we have USC versus Oregon. Last time these two played, Oregon got dominated. Oregon's playing really solid basketball. They just got done with an Iowa team that is kind of similar to what USC has because they have a dominant big man. They figure out ways to stop Luka Garza. I think Oregon has a shot to win, so I'm going to take Oregon. Or if they figure out ways to stop Evan Mobley, I think they have a way to win. I'm going to take Oregon versus Gonzaga there in the Elite Eight. Then Baylor versus Villanova. Baylor should have no issue here. Villanova. I think this is finally where Villanova, not having Colin Gillespie is going to hurt them. You're going to get away with it in games against North Texas. You're going to get away with it against Winthrop. I don't think you can get away with it when you're going up against Jared Butler, Masio Teague, Mark Vital. I don't think you can get away with that against a Baylor team that has all these names they can throw at you. Then we got Arkansas versus Oral Roberts. Man, I really want to take Oral Roberts. I really do. Oral Roberts has played really good basketball. They've played really good basketball, but I think this is where it comes to an end. Arkansas, they just have too much. Moses Moody's playing solid. Arkansas as a team is playing solid. And Arkansas, they should be able to beat Oral Roberts, and it will be Baylor versus Arkansas there in the Elite Eight. Then we got Loyola Chicago versus Oregon State. Now, both of these teams are playing great basketball. Both teams are teams that I think could win this thing easily. I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon State won by 10. I wouldn't be surprised if Loyola Chicago won by 10 or more. But seeing what Cameron Krutwig did to Illinois and seeing them just how energetic that team is once they start going, all the momentum that they bring, I'm going to have to take Loyola Chicago. I'm going to have to. At least somebody can represent the state of Illinois in the Elite Eight. Loyola Chicago, go make us proud and go win yourselves the game against Oregon State. Then we got Michigan versus Florida State. Florida State, like I said, is a team that can grind it out, and Michigan is a team that I'm not a big fan of. I don't think they're that great. Believe it or not, they're the lone Big Ten team. So if they go far, they're representing the Big Ten. They get the ultimate bragging rights, I guess. But they struggle with LSU a little bit. Florida State shouldn't be struggling here. Florida State are a good defensive team. They like to grind things out. Michigan's had their struggles, and I just don't see how they beat Florida State. I'm gonna have to take Florida State in that one. And this one is, I actually did really solid. I did really solid actually. Here in the East. Every other bracket on my YouTube one, I didn't get the Sweet 16 matchup right. Michigan, Florida State, I got right, and I also got UCLA, Alabama. UCLA, Alabama. This is a game that could go one of two ways. Alabama's hitting their shots, it's Alabama's ball game. UCLA hits if UCLA can stop them from hitting their shots and play what they've been playing the last few games, UCLA wins this ball game. I don't know, man. I initially took Alabama, and I guess I'm gonna have to stick with it. I'm just gonna have to ride with my guns there. I wouldn't be surprised if UCLA was able to pull off the upset there, though. I wouldn't be surprised if UCLA goes on an Elite Eight run. I wouldn't be surprised. So that leaves us with Oregon versus Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. And as much as I would love to say Oregon beats Gonzaga, I don't see it happening. I got Gonzaga moving on to the Final Four. Then we got Baylor versus Arkansas in the Sweet 16. Arkansas is a team that I think is solid, but I don't think they're good enough to beat Baylor. I'm going to have Baylor win that one, and they're going to be moving on to the Final Four. Then we have Loyola Chicago. Oh, wait, I didn't predict the last one. My bad. The last game of the Sweet 16 is Syracuse versus Houston. I'm actually going to pull off on a limb here, man. I'm going to go off on a limb. I'm going to take Syracuse. They've looked great. They've looked absolutely great. I think West Virginia is a very similar team to Houston, outside of Houston being a little bit more dominant defensively. Syracuse, though, they're not a team that's necessarily going to struggle against a good defensive team because their shooters can shoot from anywhere. Buddy Boeheim, he's going to make his shots. Alan Griffin, when he gets in there, he's going to do fine. They got plenty of players that they can throw at you where they're going to come out there and they're going to play big basketball. And they haven't even been using Alan Griffin. They haven't even been using Alan Griffin in the tournament, really. So wait till Syracuse starts shooting, man, because it's gonna be a struggle. Buddy Boeheim's he's not gonna step back. You guys are gonna struggle if you're going up against Syracuse. That's not a team you want to fight at this time of the year. So that leaves us Loyola Chicago versus Syracuse. And I'm sorry, Syracuse, but Loyola Chicago is just playing at an elite level, man. They're playing at a great level. I'm gonna have to take Loyola Chicago to once again go to the Final Four. That leaves us Florida State versus Alabama. And I initially took Florida State, and I think I'm going to have to do that too. Just Florida State's defense, man. I think they're enough to pressure Alabama into missing some shots, and Florida State's going to be able to win that one. So that leaves us Florida State versus Gonzaga, and that leaves us Loyola Chicago versus Baylor. Florida State versus Gonzaga. I'm going to go with the upset. I think Florida State's defense is good enough to handle the three-man monster that Gonzaga brings. I think they're able to stop. Them. Florida State's just a team that they'll grind it out, like I've been saying. They'll grind it out, and they'll do what they need to do. And they're going to make Gonzaga struggle a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a really close game. I'm gonna say that Florida State's going to be able to pull it out. Then we got Loyola Chicago versus Baylor. And you know what, man? This one's going to be close. Baylor, like I said, they got a lot of names they can throw at you. They're a scary team. But you know what, man? I'm going to take Loyola Chicago. Not for any reasons that Baylor's worse than them or anything like that. I'm just feeling the Cinderella story, man. This is going to be the year. Because at least Florida State and Loyola Chicago in the championship game, and Loyola Chicago is going to beat Florida State. They're going to beat them. I don't care about the defense. I don't care. Cameron Krutwig is going to show up, and he's going to bring a national championship to the state of Illinois. Loyola Chicago gets it done. That's my prediction for what's going to happen going on from the Sweet 16. But hopefully you guys did enjoy the Sweet 16 update video. There's a lot of basketball to be played left, man. There's a lot of basketball to be played. If you would have told me at the beginning of this tournament that we'd be seeing a Sweet 16 of Gonzaga, Creighton, USC, Oregon, Michigan, Florida State, UCLA, Alabama, Syracuse, Houston, Oregon State, Loyola, Chicago, Arkansas, Oral Roberts, Baylor, and Villanova, I would have called you crazy. I could see Gonzaga, Creighton, Baylor, Villanova. I could see maybe a path for Arkansas, and I could see a path for Michigan and Florida State, Alabama, Houston. But Syracuse, UCLA. I did predict the UCLA thing, but it'd just be weird to think about. Syracuse, Loyola, Chicago, Oregon State, Oral Roberts, Oregon even. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that one, man. I wouldn't have been able to get that one. That's a very unique Sweet 16, man. It's a very unique Sweet 16, but hey, that's all I got for you here today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys hopefully your brackets, if you're in your money brackets, anything like that, hopefully you're all still doing pretty well. Hopefully you get your money. Hopefully you make your bank. Secure that bag if you guys are in any of those brackets like that. I'm currently in a bracket. I don't even know what place I'm in, man. Once Illinois lost, I knew things were going south. Let's check it up real quick. Also, the women's bracket's actually looking pretty solid. The percentage is terrible, but I'm doing okay. Dang man. I think my best bracket left has 920 points available. Yeah, man. It's not looking good. But let's check my group. One of the groups I'm in, I'm tied for third place. And where's my money group? My money group's here. I'm in second. I'm tied for second place with one other guy. And I'm down 20 points to the winner. And unfortunately, I predicted the wrong winner. I took Illinois. They still Gonzaga and Oregon out there. But hey, that's March Madness for you. That's March Madness. You can't predict it. You can't predict it. If somebody could predict it, then somebody would already have the $1 million from Warren Buffett. That's simple. But I'm gonna get on out of here. This video will be uploaded later today. I'm recording this at 9 a.m. You guys probably won't be seeing this for a while though, because I gotta edit it. And I got some stuff to do. Because it's spring break. I don't really want to just sit around in my room all day. So we'll figure out when this is going to get up. But hopefully you guys liked it. Leave a comment down below who you think is going to win the rest of this tournament. Leave a comment down below what was the most upsetting or shocking victory from a team this March Madness so far. For me, it's Oral Roberts. I didn't see Oral Roberts coming. I really didn't. You would have told me Oral Roberts had a chance to beat Ohio State. I probably would have laughed at you. Ohio State was playing some great basketball, but they did not show up to play. They did not show up to play, and that costed Ohio State big. And now they're back at home. Now they're back at home, just like Illinois, just like Uconn, just like everybody else that's lost. They're back at home. They're back at the crib. It's over for them. No more. No more. But I'm going to get on out of here, man. You know where to find me on Twitter, GamersGoonYT. You know where to find me on Instagram, thegoongameryt. I don't use that Instagram very much, so if you want to keep up with me, make sure you go on the Twitter. I'll be keeping up with March Madness over there. As always, everything you want to hear from me, man. Everything you want to keep up with me, you got to go over to the Twitter, man. You got to go over to the Twitter. You got to hit it, and once you hit that, man. Once you hit that, you will be where you need to be. And look at that, man. Look at this. Look at this. Wendy's just sent me my tweet saying, hey, pick the winners of the Sweet 16, man. So I'm going to go do that. But I'll be talking to you guys in the next video. Hopefully you guys like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.